he's always...
Recall Mr. Tarwater.
Recalling Mr. Tarwater.
Yes.
Can I be sworn in again?
No.
No, you're still under it.
Okay.
Have a seat. Previously, there was asserted attorney-client privilege regarding any billing records. And I wanted to ask you if it was comfortable for you to tell me that you've made payment for what was characterized as repayment of the billing to the county.
And I object to that as calling for an invasion of the attorney-client privilege.
I'm asking Mr. Tarwater, I believe, to waive attorney-client privilege on his personal behalf.
We have to deal with the objection.
Okay, thank you.
We're going to overrule the objection. He is allowed to waive it if he wants to.
Yes, and so with that, do you wish to answer the question as to whether you...
I mean, I'm not an attorney, and I don't even play one on television or anything, but I've been around attorneys, and I don't ever think it's a good idea to waive attorney-client privilege. But what I will tell you is, from day one, when this fiasco started happening, was we engaged the work and law group to be there for us.
Just a second, I want to make one other objection. I do not think it's appropriate when someone's represented by counsel to override counsel and say they're asking him a question directly, and I object to the commission doing that. I don't think that's appropriate procedure at all. And I object to a proceeding where someone's represented by counsel raises an objection, and then the client is turned to essentially in front of counsel and asked to waive the privilege. I don't think that's an appropriate procedure.
Well, then, I guess, then the next step would be, and I understand your objection, Mr. Turner, but I guess you always have the right to instruct your client not to answer the question.
Well, I understand that, and I'm not going to do that, but I don't think it's appropriate for a tribunal to do that. I just think that's an inappropriate procedure, and I object to a procedure that's going forward on that basis.
Tribunal.
Well, and I intend to answer it on the grounds of, at no point in time were any of the legislators ever going to let the county pay for anything that was not county related. And so to that point, we have not. And that's how I'll answer that.
Well, let me ask this. At your previous hearing, you were represented by counsel Jack Campbell. Did you hire Jack Campbell to represent you?
That is outside the scope of what we're trying to get at here.
Is John Turner your current counsel? Do you have a document that says that he's representing you?
That is also outside the scope of what we're getting at here.
Do you wish to reveal the amount that you have paid?
No. No.
There was evidence introduced at the last hearing that indicated that from the minutes of the journal of the legislative meeting that you were the one that instructed or inquired to Mr. Rucker regarding the legislator's intent to file the countersuit. Do you remember directing the legislators to do that? Or,
Absolutely.
okay.
I remember standing in Crown Center, and it was probably about 2 years ago, a little over 2 years ago. I was standing out by the Fritz's train station with my children and talking to Mr. Workin on the telephone and Mr. Rucker. And at that point in time, I said, this is the dumbest thing I've ever seen and the most frivolous thing I've ever seen. We understand the Sunshine Law. We have not broken anything. At some point in time, I want you to be able, at the end of the day, when this is found to be frivolous and when this is over, to be able to go back and get the taxpayers' money, get it back from these people. Because, you know, these merry band of mental giants will continue to do this stuff, and they're going to continue to cost the taxpayers money. So there has to be some sort of consequences. That was the countersuit. At no time was Dan Tarwater or any other legislator ever going to receive any personal gain, nor did we want to. We do want to protect you, and the rest of Jackson County from things like this, which is just the way that, and I specifically remember standing there in front of that Fritz's train station in Crown Center, yes.
Do you recall making similar statements before the legislative body?
Mr. Whipples, again, it's really clear, there's been a countersuit. So
The countersuit, reason for the countersuit and the impetus behind the expenditure of countersuit public funds has been an issue in which...
Of which it never happened. There was never any public funds spent on a countersuit.
And is that...
That is my testimony.
I see no further point in pursuing it. Thank you.
No question.
Commissioners?
Thank you.
I have